record, okay, as you guys know, I don't get involved with any of this online drama stuff at all, okay? But when Gahul contacted me several weeks ago and he says, I used to be the former co-host of a wrestling show with PPP. Our show also got into drama. We also basically had gotten to a big online tiff, and it would be perfect for me to come on because I'm a big fan of wrestling, but also I have all this history. I was like, I've got to take advantage of this. I got to get this guy on to talk both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this guy is the real deal. He knows his stuff. He's got the history, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of this because I've literally, just so you guys know, I have not spoken with him in any kind of detail whatsoever about any of the stuff we're about to talk about. Okay. Like, I don't know anything about it. This is him coming to me and being like, I'm the guy who was involved with him. I'm like, holy shit. This guy loves to go on his show. I'm talking about PPP going on Kino Casino, and he just likes to snipe and dump on everyone else on the internet, right? He's the one who's going to be the big guy who's going to talk shit, right? The king shit. When I was in my 20s, I was a troll. I said it to everyone publicly. I was an asshole, okay? I was involved in the competitive Street Fighter community. I was known as the biggest shit talker. I would literally say, I'm going to come fuck you up at the tournament. I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I look back on it now, and I regret it because I'm in my 40s, and I'm like, man, instead of that, I could have been someone more positive, someone trying to do constructive things for the Street Fighter community. Instead I look back, I'm like, wow, what an immature asshole I was, right? Now, I guess the new thing is when you're in your 20s, you got to be involved with as many fringe, insanely socially reprehensible criminal circles as you can online. Spend all your time online and chats, doing fucked up stuff. Like, to me, it's just like crazy. It's like a culture shock to hear this because I'm so far removed from that. I'm not so far removed. Like, my parents are so far removed from it. They don't even know what shit on the internet is. Okay. They don't even get the internet. They're a different generation. I'm the generation that grew up with it, but I was never involved in any of this crazy shit. Now I hear like the whole new generation. This is how everyone grew up. Everyone's online doing this online shit, crazy fringe shit. Like, oh my God. Like, it's a weird, like second society online of people doing this stuff. Like, they're above everyone else. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have anything to ever have, what the fuck? And why would anyone want to watch that kind of crap, knowing who these people are, their past? Because I knew nothing about them whatsoever when I got involved with them. And then more and more, as I did more projects, more collabs with them, I have more people coming out. You got to cut it off. You got to stop. You understand this is going to be toxic. This is going to hurt you and your family long term. You're going to get wrapped up in shit you don't want to get wrapped up in. And I kept saying, don't worry. I got control of this. If they ever push me into something I don't want to do, they're going to know that. I'm not going to do it. And look what happened. The moment that they tried to basically snake me and get me involved with shit I didn't want to do, I said, no, I'm done. And then immediately it's like scorched earth against DSP. He's the worst guy on the planet. Let's have weeks of content about the guy. Well, what happened? You said it was good. If I could, he even said to me, if ever you feel like our association isn't working out, you can leave. It's all good. And then I did. And then he turns into like a jilted lover, or like, like I left him at the altar or something. Or it's like, what?
You can tell he's pissed. You can tell he really wanted to be friends with you. You can tell he really wanted you to come to like hang out with him, to go do the Hogan show. Because I think he just wants to do that with someone, but he feels too embarrassed to just go by himself because he doesn't think, or he feels like maybe he physically can't do it by himself. Or he wants to go with you. And frankly, I hope he does find someone to go hang out with Hogan in Tampa with. That sounds awesome. He should go do that and stop fucking wasting his time talking shit about drama. Go make some real fucking friends. Or make some fucking friends online. Host your show and do your shit. Talk shit about people. But, like, frankly, it crossed the line when you start talking shit about your wife.
Exactly. Listen, I had every intention. Upset about. I had every intention of being civil and friendly with those guys for as long as it made sense. You know what I mean? Like, I had no intention of turning against them or snaking them, but it just seems like it was inevitable. Like, on their end, it was just going to happen when they saw that doing something with DSP in a positive manner wasn't going to make them money anymore. You knew eventually it was going to flip into let's get to the negative and just destroy the guy instead. And that's what everyone was telling me. And I said to everyone, don't worry, I have control of it, which I did. I pulled the plug when I needed to, but that's when they went crazy. So that's how it kind of ended. But to me, see, here's the thing that I think about, because we're talking about the Hogan thing, right? I think I agree with you. Like, I think that PPP actually does want to have real friends. But for some reason, there's something up here that just doesn't let him. And I don't know if it's...
He treats friends like shit.
if it's a
He treats all his
deficiency.
fucking friends.
It could be depression too, because I'll tell you this from personal experience. Back when I was younger, I really suffered badly from depression. Okay, and I had friends.
Yeah.
Literally, I destroyed friendships in my life for no reason. It wasn't like I don't like this guy or whatever. I literally would just say, "Time to fuck this friendship up," and then I would act like an asshole or not ghost someone completely. And then my depression would make me feel worse. Like it was like an endless cycle. You feel depressed, so you do fucked up things that ruin your life, and then you feel more depressed, and it just feeds itself. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, all right?
Well,
But it was wild the way that he was acting like he wanted to be my friend. I was trying to tell him, nah, dude, there's kind of boundaries. I'm not going that far because I got a life, I got a wife. I'm never going to really be into that extent. And then when he goes too far and actually insults my wife, then he loses it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he was angry because I said I wouldn't go hang out with him in Florida, and she was the reason. So that's why he's so angry at her and starts talking shit about her on the
Probably.
show. Maybe.
Probably. Yeah, maybe so. But I mean, frankly, I don't think, because he's done this with every fucking. I mean, obviously he did it with me, but like, you know, we were like 15 people, 20 people watched it. No one was really watching. And it was mostly because it was on my channel. I don't have a very popular channel. It is what it is. Although I will say, I've got some big hits on there. Some You Don't Mess with the Zohan reviews, 500,000 views. What can you do? It's a good video. But so the final episode, which you can watch, it's if you go in the playlist, I believe it is. Let me pull this up.
Yeah. And what is the name of your channel on YouTube so everyone can find it if they want to check it out?
It's Gahul. It's Gahul. You might get the movie Guardians of Gahul, but you're looking for Gahul. If you look Gahul like Incel or Gahul TV channel, you'll get it there. But you're looking for 5 Pounds of Guns, Season 2, Episode 3. It's the final episode. Okay. About an hour in, we just fucking devolve and descend on each other. And he just starts ripping me a new one. I start ripping him a new one. And all of this centered around a contention point, which was PPP's e-girlfriend, frankly. Or rather...
Hold on. I'm not in on all this lingo. E-girlfriend. Are you saying that it was a girlfriend that he had that was solely online and he didn't spend time with? Or are you saying that it actually wasn't even a real girl? It was like an avatar?
When the sun is shining, we love spending time outside of the
situation before we get into the specifics of this snacks girl. So PPP at this time, because we're talking, this is 2021. Okay, this is long before Kino Casino, correct? This is like you and him just doing a small time wrestling show together. And
yeah, this was... This last episode was just after he got kicked out of his house with his friend who used to live with his friend named Surfer.
One thing I want to call out here, because you're dropping names, isn't it funny? It seems like everyone who this guy associates with, he has a big falling out with, and ends up basically trying to dump on at a later date. You just named Ethan Ralph, you named Dick Masterson, obviously, me, everyone who he does stuff with, there's some drama, and the next thing you know, he just takes it upon himself later on to like turn on this guy or whoever it is. I mean, it just seems like a running pattern.
Yes, it is absolutely a running pattern. Well, I mean, the key one is his friend Surfer, who is not obviously friends with him before, but he was living in Surfer's house without paying rent, right? That's where he lived, was in Surfer's couch without paying rent, and Surfer was his best friend for years. They went to the same church together, they worked together. Surfer was like his real life friend, right? And they had a very public falling out where Surfer called the cops on him because PvP was like physically assaulting him, which I don't want to talk or speak for Surfer or PvP involved with that because I wasn't there, but they had a real actual end
altercation
of shit.
Yeah.
And that was a real friendship that was destroyed by internet bullshit, primarily because of how Surfer interacted with these e-girls, I think. That's my speculation. And Surfer kind of confirmed it to me when I've spoken to him. That their main reason for the blow-up was partially because Surfer was interrupting him on the streams, because, frankly, Surfer's a very entertaining person, and they had a great, duo dichotomy where they would banter back and forth, where PvP talked more it's kind of it's a good comparison. PvP with Michael Cole.
This whole thing blows my mind because, I'm 43 years old, and when I was growing up, the online stuff didn't even exist. It was all in person, trying to meet people or whatever. And yes, obviously I've met, people online. My wife I met online, and but even then, having a long distance relationship where you just talk on a chat or a server all day, it's just not, to me, that's not like a real relationship. And so once I had basically been dating my wife for several months. I was like, I want her to move in with me. I want to start having a real relationship with this woman. I just don't get the whole thing. Sitting on a server talking for 6 hours straight all day. Just can't you just find someone who you can be with in
Well,
person, who's a real in life relationship? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just
well,
crazy to me. I don't know.
and I don't want to throw stones in glass houses. I'm a very fat guy. I'm not skinny, but PvP is a death fact, right? His only option is an EU relationship because he can't physically. Right now, he can't
Wow.
physically leave the house. You know, at the time, he could barely get to the toilet. You know, and when
I
he
have
was
no
surfing.
idea what any of this is. And for the record, because some people in chat are like, what's going on right here? It's this simple. All right. PPP right now is riding high. And the reason he's riding high is because he caught lightning in a bottle. All right. What it sounds to me like is he was someone who was a lolcow on the internet. And he knows it. He knows how bad of a lolcow he was. He was in lolcow circles, the sector, and he was making content and all that. And at some point, he somehow stumbled upon the perfect formula. I want to do a show with someone else, formerly kind of from this group, and we're going to basically make fun of everyone else, and we're going to act like we're the high horses above everybody else. But in truth, here's the truth about all of this, all right? Anyone who involves themselves in this kind of content and actively wraps themselves up in it on a daily basis is no better than anyone else. On any given day, you're going to fly too close to the sun, something's going to come out, and then you're going to be the new jackass. All right. Personally, me, I have tried to never, ever get involved with this kind of shit. When everyone else tries to get Phil on their show for drama and this and that, I say, no, I don't want to do that because I want to make meaningful, positive content for people on the internet. Okay. But this guy, him and his buddy over there on Kino
Well,
Casino, actively tried to use me for 8+ months as a way to get a rise on their show, to get me involved in their content. And then when it wasn't convenient anymore because it wasn't working, they decided that they were going to turn on me and start being negative towards me. And that's when I had enough and I cut the cord. Now all of a sudden, Phil's the loser, Phil's the lolcow. No, motherfuckers, you are. You always were. But just because you found a way to get popular making fun of other lolcows doesn't mean that you're not the ultimate lolcows too. So when
right,
Gahul
like nobody, no one gives a shit about him. And frankly, in a year or two, when PvP and Warski have their big blow up, which will inevitably happen, as we all know, it's a circle of life. What's going to happen? PvP is going to get dumped by Warski. Warski's going to move on to a new show or new co-host, and PvP will just become another of the long line of previous Andy Warski co-hosts up there with JF and Anal Vape. Right? That's the people. That's who he is. It's a nobody. And frankly, I thought PvP was better than that. I thought he had a chance to make something better of himself, or at least get offline and do something real with his fucking life, which he just hasn't done. And he is, because I consider Kino Casino to be his death sentence. He has success, moderate success online. I mean, if you compare him to actual live streamers, like real ones, it's fucking nothing. They get a couple thousand views, they get some money, whether it's botted or not. They have histories of botting in the past. And
see, I don't know that either. People tell me this after the fact. I hear all this shit so far after the fact. But yeah, I heard all kinds of stuff about that they've got botters, they've got people who go in there and throw them stuff, but they know it's going to happen. Like it's pre-planned shit and everything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? So people say that about me too. To be fair, people say that shit about me all the time too, and it's never been true. So who knows? I mean, it's possible, but you know, you can't really take someone to task.
But
for
legit, they have done botting. They just have. And you know, I mean, when they first got kicked out of YouTube, they started using like really sketchy payment sites, like ones that like Russian shit, where like they would steal your credit card number and stuff afterwards.
Jesus.
And they said, please use this
on their heads. I work 8 hours. Well, I work 5 days minimum, 6 days some weeks, 8+ hours of streaming a day because I'm a normal guy who I realize that my viewers are not filthy rich and I need to earn their money by making a lot of content that they like. These guys literally just dump on people on their streams. How hard is that? Not very hard, I can tell you, because I've done it before. It's really fucking easy. And people just open their wallets. So if you want more Kino Casino, don't shower them with money because then they don't have to work anymore. And then they go on vacations and they take a million days off. But people are stupid. These people who throw and shower money on people like this online, they're not smart. They don't understand the LARP because that's really what it is. It's a LARP. They're role-playing something you want so that you will shower them with money and then they run to the bank. I can outright tell you guys this. Right
Well,
after one episode of Smart Guys, okay, I was right here talking to PPP after the show. And you want to know what he said to me? He said, Phil, our viewers and our fans are just wallets. They're not people. They don't act like they have feelings. They're not your friends. The only thing that they're there for is to pay you. You milk them in any way you can, and the moment you can, you throw them away and you replace them with others. That's it. That's how he sees his audience. And so
to the point that he's okay with them putting their card information on a site where they will literally, obvious thing you could say I'm doing right now. But genuinely, this guy will be fucking dead soon. And the more money you continue to give them, the more likely it is he will be dead. So if you want to see the guy die, it's similar cases to like King Cobra JFS, where like if you give that guy money, he's just gonna spend it on booze and it's gonna get closer to killing him. It's the exact same thing with PPP.
I hate to say it, really. I think that's kind of the shtick at this point online. I really believe that. Like, people actually pay these lolcows because they want to see them do the action that's most harmful to them, and then they're actually getting some kind of. I think it's sick. To me, I think that's twisted, sick shit. Like, if you're gonna watch someone online, watch because you legit like them, contribute because you actually want to see them success and make themselves better. If you're actually paying someone and they're getting worse, then isn't that the opposite? But I think there are people that is a sick fetish where I will, like you said, the death fats or whatever, throw them the candy, throw them the stuff so they'll keep going. You want to see them get pushed over the edge. That's just that's insane. That's like the wild, broken human culture, in my opinion. That's why I don't want to be a part of any of this shit online. And I hope people now, you kind of see with all the shit that these people are involved in, why I don't want to get involved in these circles. These guys were trying to push me into this shit. You know what I'm saying?
And to be fair, obviously